Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Artifact Podcast. Today is episode 3, and we're gonna have Lear as our guest. Our friend Gyro is on vacation, so this episode was a little tricky to record, and Dolph is still dead. So let's move on.
He's still dead from being killed by Tropical. And
Yeah.
I am in a hotel room right now, so we're going to keep this episode around 30 minutes long. We have a few topics to get over in this intro, and the first of which being the Veil show. We talked about it in the first episode, the second episode, and we're talking about it now. It has been progressing, it's getting better and better. At first, it had some controversial issues with statements said by a few people in it, and that was all resolved. They apologized, and that's all good. And then after that, they started getting teaser trailers and all that stuff made, and now they're just like getting more and more done. And the official trailer will be coming out, I believe, before this video is posted. So I'll put a link to that in the comments when this video gets posted. It looks pretty cool. I am now helping on it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Second topic is Crest League. Crest League is coming around again, which is a 5v5 tournament, which is Artifact, and there's also a 4v4 tournament, which is Hardpoint. So gather a team of 5 or 4 players, whoever you'd like, and play in that. That is available through the Vanguard Gaming Discord and through Dev Post. Here, I'll just show the locations of it. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, there is a content creator team being made with me, AJ, Mazurik, Zed, and a few other people. So that's going to be pretty cool, and we're going to be recording all of the preparations for Crest League. It's going to be pretty cool. So, like GMFA said, this week we're having Lear. He is the community manager, I believe. I think he's manager on the Veil Discord. He sets up events, just everything community-wise. He sets it up, and we're going to be asking him a bunch of questions, very, very shortly, that will be very interesting. I don't know where I'm going with this. And next episode, we're having Tropical on the podcast. If you don't know who Tropical is, he's the CEO of Veil, and he's a pretty big person to get on the podcast, as well as Lear is. Lear is super cool. We already recorded the interview before this part. But
Yeah, and Gyro's scared of him.
I'm scared of him. He intimidates me. Less now, after we've interviewed him, but like before that, I was scared to talk to him.
I don't know why.
Tropical, though, I'm not scared of him at all. And if you don't
I
know,
am.
he sent me a Valve Index, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, lucky boy.
Right now I'm playing on Quest 3 because I do not have access to my index. It's at home, and it was missing one piece that is going to be there when I get back. So I'll finally be able to record a video on me transitioning to Valve Index. And I cannot wait to play the new Blade and Sorcery update on it. Now this is getting off topic and off of Veil, but I gotta say it. If you haven't played Blade and Sorcery Crystal Hunt, you're missing out. It is some of the best VR content I've ever played.
Yesterday I bought Yesterday I bought Nomad, so
Nomad is also really good, but sadly they won't be getting the Crystal Hunt update for a month or two, which is really sad.
still.
Alright, and without further ado, we're going to send you to the interview with Lear. With Miss just...
Hello and welcome everybody. Today is the third episode of the Artifact Podcast. Oops. Today is the third episode of the Artifact Podcast, and today we're having Lear as our guest.
Hey everyone.
Clap. Hey. That's clapping sound. Funny moment.
Alright,
So we've asked the first question. Do I ask again?
No, we'll just go. First question. Alright, I gotta edit a lot of this. Just what's going to happen.
How did you start working in XLab?
So it was actually a bit of a funny one because I originally started playing Veil with one of my friends, and he was getting some very, very harsh crashes way back before. And I actually reached out. I just went on the Discord server and picked someone random from the dev list to reach out to. And it accidentally ended up being Tropical. So I just basically complained to Tropical in DM about this bug that I'd encountered. He asked me to work with him to fix the bug, and he put me in contact with Crazy Ivan. And then I've been in college for games design, so I just kind of decided, well, if I got to lose, I'll shoot my shot. Asked if they originally actually had any openings for quality assurance tester, but I got put onto a call with the old community manager Paper Fox and Crazy Ivan, and had a kind of a red pill, blue pill kind of moment where they asked me which route I'd want to go down. And I decided it would be best to go down the community management route because that was primarily where my experience had lied.
My second question is, what do you do at XLab? Like, what
So
do you work with?
I have my hand in a bit of everything at the moment. Primarily, obviously, I'm head of community management, so primarily my kind of work lies in the community management aspect. But a lot of people kind of think that that is primarily the Discord side of stuff, which is obviously a large portion of it. But especially recently, I've had a lot of kind of play with the accounts on the back end and user accounts. Been working with the team on some skins and stuff, pitching ideas from the community that the community have recommended, and kind of using all of that information to try to figure out what people would want. So things like the skin from the Discord as Jiro is wearing there, we see a lot of people commenting on the shaders from the Smooth Brain pack and stuff. So that was kind of pitch saying what kind of shaders would people want to see. So yeah, I have my hand in that. I do a lot of stuff with the in-game moderation as well. So I maintain and handle all player reports. Every player report that is submitted directly to me, I write them out by hand. I submit them to the entire team. They're all written out. Evidence is submitted. Anyone that was there, statements and such, are all written out manually by me. And then we can take action based on those users. So we have taken some kind of moderative action against users in the past. Luckily, I am pleased to say that we don't actually have that many kind of negative aspects about the game. We've got the advantage that the majority of our community is extremely friendly and extremely welcoming and kind. So a large portion of the time, if there are any issues, people drawing kind of stupid things on whiteboards, it's relatively pretty kind of put out, the fire's kind of put out quite early on. So a lot of the time we don't even need to take a look at it because users kind of say that's not really right to do, so don't do it. So outside of that, gel, cosmetics and everything, a lot of the kind of rewards and such are given out manually. So I go through every user's account one by one and I send out every cosmetic one by one when they come things. So like the Crash Dummy skins, the Patreon skins, the Onyx skins, all of those are kind of done by me. And then if any devs need to give out skins, so like the Tropical Head, Tropical forwards that to me, and I'm the one that kind of sends them out. So at the minute, I just kind of have my hand in everything that I can pretty much get my little goblin hands on, and then I just help out where I can.
Can you explain what gel and previously BBB is for the audience?
Yeah, so originally we had BBB, which was Big Boy Buck. So Big Boy is one of our programmers and a bit of an advisor for the company. Really insanely smart guy, really fun guy as well. Nobody in the company knows anything about him. Nobody knows what he looks like. We only know him by his dog, which is, I believe, a golden retriever. And that's about the extent of what we know about him. But yeah, really intelligent guy. So we decided to honor him with BBB. We had some skins that could be earned via BBB that could be purchased with them. And they were originally earned by things like voice chats, sending messages and talking in the Discord server and everything. Yeah, you guys have got your collections here. And then, things like we had the matchmaking system and everything in the Discord as well, which unfortunately is being sundowned since we'll have a bit more of a better one in-game soon. So we don't really have a requirement for that anymore. So we had quite a few skins, you guys here. I think we had maybe 4 or 5 different rotations of skins that you could get using BBB. So I believe there's about a month or so left on that system before BBB's gone completely. And then gel is the in-game currency, which will be replaced or has replaced BBB. Is used to actually purchase the skins directly through the game itself. It is a lot better of a system. We'll have ways, earn it through prestige and leveling and everything. Can buy some of these skins here. Obviously, it can be purchased through the game if you want to, but we're kind of aiming to have it as a thing where you are able to grind out if you want to earn skins, so you don't have to spend money.
I heard that the purpose of the jail market, like when it was first thought of, was to help fund like the Veil itself, like to give some money for XLab to do better things. And then they slowly started making events and stuff. And for example, if you attend a Discord event hosted by you're fully crouched, you gotta move for a bit. Yeah. If you attend a Discord event hosted by Tux, previously Cyber, you get, I believe, for each gel code, you get, I think, 3 at most for each event, but it's only like 100 gel from what I've seen.
So
And that is
it was a lot. It was a bit lower before. It's gone up to 150 now for 3 codes.
Okay. For all three are 150 total.
150 total. So we are kind of taking a look at the amounts that we want to give, but obviously we do have to be careful with it because we try to use gel as rewards and kind of incentive for people to play competitively as well. So like Crest League tournaments, VRML, they all get like gel packages that will have quite a high quantity in them. And then, like you said, it supports the company itself. So, it's quite significant because obviously VR is quite a niche market in and of itself. We've been very lucky and very fortunate that we've been able to launch on Quest, and that has kind of boosted our odds quite significantly because we're as close to mainstream as we can get currently. But at the end of the day, VR is still very, very niche. So that kind of support and input that we can get from the community if they want to is a lot to us. But we do try to have other methods that people can get gel for free without having to pay and still get their skins. So events, tournaments and such, giveaways and everything we'll be doing more in the future. But we are kind of taking a look at the gel kind of quantities that we give out at events. And I know you guys said you wanted some kind of details and things a bit later, so I'll hold off for a bit of a later question for some stuff that are coming in the future regarding those kind of things.
All right. Are you allowed to tell me this? I'm assuming you're not. But what is the worst thing that someone has done that's been reported to you?
Yeah, unfortunately, that is very, very NDA when it comes to all moderation stuff, Discord, in-game. It's all kind of privacy protected stuff, so we have to kind of keep it very under wraps. We're not even allowed to tell users that reported it if there's been any actions taken against those users specifically or anything like that.
I've noticed that. Yeah, I submitted a report, no further information on that, and I never heard back, and I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to know what happened. But I mean, it's the rules.
Yeah, when it comes to all privacy, because obviously it's this kind of, it's a difficult thing because it's a paid game as well. We have to take all bans and everything very seriously, because obviously it's not, we're not just a standalone kind of entity. We have involvement with Steam and with Meta as well. So banning someone from the platform is not just implemented against us, it's got issues with Steam and Meta as well. So we have to be very careful with the actions that we take and how we take them. And then the privacy aspect of it, we need to be very kind of careful about what we can and can't say with it all. So we just try to keep it very tame as much as we can to make sure that there's no issues there.
All right.
So, in general, do you like Veil's community?
Oh, 100%. No, Veil is, out of every game community that I've been involved with, I've tested lots of games. I've been involved with lots of VR communities, but from an unbiased point of view, even before I had aspirations to join the company, I think the community is fantastic. Usually with first-person shooters, it tends to be quite. Yeah, it's got that kind of atmosphere where it's competitive, so people they have that aggression. But Veil for the most part is you get those few bad apples, but I think everyone's at that kind of point where any user could say in a server, "I'm new to the game, can someone help me?" And people usually kind of come together and teach them. I don't, half the time someone will say like, "I don't know how to play Artifact. How do I start scanning?" And before I can even unmute my microphone, these guys are given tutorial level information on how to play the game, and it's just amazing to kind of wrap my head around that, to listen that these people are just immediately there to help. And as a community member, it's pride.
So I do think the Metastore official release did make the community a slight like not the Discord, but like the game community a bit worse because obviously more people started to start the game because it was not
Gorilla
on the
Tag
app lab.
kids.
You gotta move a bit, but yeah, but for the most part, it's very kind people, very cool people in the community.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, there's two kind of aspects that come into the whole meta launch when it comes to that. It's obviously increase of numbers. I've always said with mass numbers comes, massive everything else. There'll be a lot more positivity, there'll be a lot more negativity because there's a lot more people to have that opportunity. And as well as that, obviously the meta audience tends to be kind of demographically younger.
Yeah.
And a lot of the cases that we have, and something that I'm pleased about is a lot of the cases that we have is someone will do something bad, but all it takes is me just sending them a message and just saying, we don't accept that here. And I never get a single report about them again. In fact, they're the ones reporting the issues to me, saying, oh, I've actually run into another person encountering that. And honestly, that's the majority of the
Really?
reports that I get are people I've previously spoken to about us not tolerating something. And then we get all of the reports from them where they're kind of almost trying to make amends for the issues that they've caused. And it means a lot because it's one thing to have kind of to I wouldn't say tell someone off, but like to have that kind of discussion with them, and they could very easily not come back on the game and be embarrassed about it, or even double down and make it worse. But I don't think I've ever had that case where they've doubled down and made it worse or disappeared from the face of the earth. They always try to contribute more to the game's kind of positive atmosphere, which is always very refreshing.
I do feel like I liked the game better when there was less people because yeah, you there's more. I feel like there's cooler people, but also like in the games you would run into someone specific, move a bit, like a lot of times, like
Yeah,
because at the start when it was only PC VR, I think that I didn't play back then because I don't my PC isn't good enough, but I know the community was very small, and like the lobbies would be always most of the time be the same people.
yeah, for sure. It's
Yeah.
that's the kind of the double-edged sword that you get. A lot of the developers that play actively, I know Tropical especially. Him and I both have alt accounts that we have previously used in the past because as much as we love the community, sometimes you just want to hop on after work and kind of
Yeah.
have that work-life separation, and you just want to play the game that you enjoy. So we both have alt accounts, and I was actually speaking to him the other day. I think he was actually in one of in the Citadel, perhaps. When we were talking about it, we don't need to use the alt accounts anymore because people don't recognize us enough as developers that it becomes an issue. So we can just play the game, enjoy ourselves, and then if there's somebody that's doing really good or someone that's been really kind, we'll often say, "Hey, I'm actually a developer with XLab, the people that make the game. I'd like to give you a dev skin if you don't mind," kind of thing.
Really?
So like you said, it's a blessing and a curse because you love the community that you know and you love the people that you run into a lot, and that's really refreshing. And there's lots of friends in the Discord community that back in the older days you ran into all the time. They were always the only people online. But on the other side, I suppose you get to meet more people now. I've run into some amazing people since the launch on Quest. I've given
Yeah.
out a fair few dev skins to people that have been really friendly in game, have kind of boosted that positive atmosphere. And I would have never run into him if it wasn't for the Quest launch.
I think it's fair to say that when the Quest launch happened, the player base rose by like it doubled at least.
Oh yeah,
There
100%.
was
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
so many new people that came, but also there were kids who were from Gorilla Tag and said the N word over and over. And then there were people who just didn't know how to use the game at all, and they didn't know how to use Discord, so they just kind of gave up. I know my neighbor actually got Veil. He's like 25, and he did not know how to use it, and he just never played it again. But with all those people, it basically the game was dying, and if they didn't move to Quest, then it wouldn't have survived. So there was literally no choice, and I think it made the game. I think it made the game better, even if there are some worse people or some more annoying people. at least it's still here.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing is we get kind of a lot of comment from the kind of older community where they commented on how rough the transition from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5 was, because we lost like 70% of our player base for a long time because it was in a really rough state. And I don't think anybody in the dev team is kind of ashamed to admit that it was in a rough state, because that was our make or break moment, right? That was the thing that we said, okay, we could give up now, stick to UE4 and stay on PC VR, and the studio can be gone in a couple of months, or we just tough this out, know that we have the capability to make it better, and we'll come out on the other side. And I think the results kind of speak for themselves with the player counts, with the people that are joining in the competitions and everything. We've had a massive turnout from it that has been fantastic, and none of us regret that transition whatsoever.
I wanted to get back a little bit to the gel store, so I had two questions on that. So the first one is, are we going to see a rotation anytime soon?
Yeah, I'd imagine there'll probably be another rotation soon. We try not to let things stay on there for too long, because it does get a bit stale if they're on there for too long. So I'd imagine there'll be one soon.
And the other one was, yeah, you can say.
What's the time difference between rotations generally?
Or
what's the goal for it?
I think we aim at the minute. I think the goal tends to be we try to get one out with each update, kind of thing. Take that with a grain of salt, because a lot of the stuff, there's a lot of implementation in it, because the art team have the deadlines to meet for the actual cosmetics themselves. They have to be implemented into UI with icons and buttons. They have to be set up on the UI, set up on the actual gel store themselves, so when you press buy, it does something. They have to be tested and quality assured to make sure there's no missing parts of the texture, or that the model's not glitched or anything with the new cosmetics. So there's quite a lot of implementation that goes into it that I think a lot of people don't realize, and that's something that we see a lot of people commenting on, is just make a new skin and add it. There's a lot more that even I would have thought goes into it, but as I've started to mess around with like my dev skin, I started to get more input from the art team and seeing what kind of goes behind that. And obviously, like I said earlier, I was in college for games design, and I have that experience. But speaking to Bevo, one of our cosmetic artists, the optimization on my skin was just terrible, and I had to pass it through him to double check to make sure that everything was sorted before it could even be imported into the engine to even see what the render would look like in game itself. So there's quite a lot that goes into it.
So wait, you were working on a skin to make?
Was that sorry?
Oh, you cut out. Sorry, what did you say?
I didn't know who you said. You cut out as well.
I said, you were working on a skin to make?
Yeah, I've been working on my own dev skin, so I've got one that will be in the next build, which will be for PL14. I can send a photo into the group chat later. No, 100%. I can hook you guys up with it. Yeah, for sure.
Can we show it in the video there?
That's the kind of thing that we've got going on with it. Is the meeting game.
You had a
Can we show it in the video though?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, by all means. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get a render for you guys.
All right, sick. Yeah, we'll put it on screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Since we're talking about skins that haven't released yet, do you have some leaks?
As far as skins and such go, I don't have any leaks on that side. The art team is very protective of their work, and they are perfectionists. So as soon as it's ready, it goes out. So unless it is ready, I don't get to see it. Unfortunately, there's very few cases that I get to.
He's the distribution side, besides his own skin, which I really want to see.
Pretty much.
So, wow, crap! What was my question? Oh yeah. What do you think of the art, like the concept art team that's working in the Discord, just made out of community members, like Maple, Misty?
Yeah, I think
what do you think of that?
The work is fantastic. I mean, some of the skins that they make in there are just top quality, right? That there's things in there, and the dev team, we look at them constantly. That every dev checks that channel, and at least once a month, I try to kind of get a bit of a compilation. We use primarily Slack for our inter-dev communications, and I try to send at least 10 screenshots of those skins into the Slack a month to make sure that they see the things that people are making.
Yeah, no, they're really
and
good.
there's that kind of thing that if we ever need more skin development artists or anything like that, we always have a place to go, because we'd rather recruit from our own community, the people that have kind of stuck with us through it all and do it in their own time, than just randomly pick people online that have applied. And you've seen that with Bevo, Bruh, both were people that were just posting skin concepts in the Discord, and now they're working with us, and they made the skins that you guys are running and using.
So I this just came to my head, but why did you choose to work with VR? Like,
honestly, I got into VR originally. I ended up running into a really small VR arcade at a beachside with my dad when I was a bit younger, and it was literally just 2 HTC Vives and 2 gaming computers in a room, and that was the entire shop. I think I played Space Pirate Simulator or something, and I was just impressed because I went from console handheld devices to computer, and then that was the next natural step of holy crap, this is potentially the future of gaming. And that kind of level of immersion, I'd never kind of run into it before. So I just started looking around for VR games, got into all of the kind of generic ones, and then Veil just popped up on, I think it was a Thrill Seeker video or something I spotted it on, and I just kind of ended up getting into it.
So I had a similar thing where I think the first time I ever saw VR ever was at an arcade. I think it was at Kalahari, if you know what that is. It's in America. I don't know where you're from.
I'm from the UK.
But yeah, there was an arcade with the same headsets, but there was a zombie game and there was a painting game. I was too scared to play the zombie game, so I was just sitting there painting while my brothers were fighting zombies. By the way, how old are you?
I am 21.
If you don't mind me asking. Sorry, you cut out?
I am 21.
He keeps cutting out again. Saying.
I'm 21.
21?
Yeah, 21, yeah.
Oh, so you're actually not that much older than me. I'm 15.
Yeah, I think I was originally the youngest person on the development team. I think I joined when I was shortly after I turned 18, I think. 18 or 19? I can't remember.
Sick. I remember when I first joined, you were super intimidating, and I was scared to talk to you.
So, at the moment, I don't really know, but is the XLab team a big team, or is it a small group of people?
I'd say as far as indie companies go when it comes to games, I'd say we're relatively mid-sized. I don't know exactly how many employees and contractors and everything we have. I think we have probably 20 to 30. So I think we're relatively mid-sized, kind of maybe on a little bit on the larger side. But when it comes to games companies as a whole, we are miniature. We are absolutely just minuscule.
Where do you see the XLab team going with Veil in the next few years? For example, where do you see the XLab team growing, and how big do you think it would get? And what do you want to happen to Veil in the next few years?
I think we're trying to. It's a difficult one because you want to try and appeal to as many people as you can, and that's the difficult part, because one thing that the team really actively wants to fight for, and we do fight for, is the competitive side, because at the end of the day, competitive was what started Veil, right? We were a competitive first-person shooter, and that was the difficulty with it. Is we had that balance of, we want to stick with competitive, but competitive wasn't enough to grow us mainstream, and we'd like to have kept it at that kind of point. But the difficult part about it is, we need to keep the studio sustainable. We have to be able to continue to develop Veil itself. And we had that kind of situation where we were like, okay, competitive needs to be off of the priority list for a little while. Let's focus on making sure the game can go mainstream, and then let's use what we gain from that to give back to the competitive community. So obviously we had all the stuff with the Miami Major and everything, which was fantastic. We've been doing stuff with VRML now, and I personally, I'm not sure how widely known it is, but I've been doing a competitive push. So I've been speaking to casters and players from all sorts of different games, from VR to flat screen, console, and everything.
Oh, really?
And
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, so I've been personally DMing. I probably DM'd probably over 1,000 different people at this point. Not all of them have wanted to play just yet, but we've been getting input from all of them, casters and everything, on the systems that we can use to make casting games easier for them and everything. And that's the upside of it, is we hear a lot about it. The kind of the term that we hear is there's potential, and that's really all we need, because as long as people feel that there's potential, that
Then,
you've got your foot
yeah.
in the door, right? It's not just something like, oh, maybe we'll take a look at it. As long as they say, yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. So we definitely want to come back to that kind of competitive thing and make sure that we complement that. We still do need to focus on the kind of casual mainstream. I know that Tropical's done a lot of leaks recently as far as the stuff that we've got coming up, and a lot of it is kind of appeal to the kind of the casual side of things, with social hubs and the game modes that are the kind of quick play, hop in, mind some, all that kind of stuff is
not really practical.
That kind of thing that we want to focus on as well. Yeah, so and that's the thing, is like we want to try to appeal to as many people as we can, and that's that kind of that loop is, if we want to focus on the more niche communities like competitive, then we have to focus on mainstream. And to focus on mainstream, it's that kind of that circle where if we want to support one, we have to support the other. And to be able to get to the point where we can support both, we will need to expand the team. We'll need artists and everything to make sure we're hitting the deadlines and everything for competitive cosmetics and everything. We'll need, programmers to make sure features are rolled out quicker, artists and everything for the maps to make sure that we've got good maps and everything. There's a lot of stuff that we'll need to scale to be able to support everyone, but we're getting to that point now where, we've been working with, and Tropical himself is really passionate about this, with how much he tries to get people into competitive as well, because he wants to see that grow still. So that was, he's been generating discount codes for me to send out to competitive players and everything. When I was doing that competitive push, doing everything with Crest League, the VRML and everything, maintaining those relationships and stuff like that. And then I'll comment on it a bit later, but we've got some plans to help kind of foster that competitive community as well, to make sure that it's grown. And then obviously, so yeah, a lot of it is primarily the kind of scalability of supporting both sides of the scale. So I reckon that will be the next step, is once we're at a comfortable point where we've got a game that people can either hop on and just play for hours and hours on end, or they can go down the serious competitive route with those kind of playlists and everything. Then we've got that, and there'll probably be a decent kind of split of developers that'll be focusing on each thing.
Yeah, real quick, I asked this question: who is your favorite coworker?
Favorite coworker? Man, that is that is genuinely tough. I honestly don't think I have a favorite one. And if I could try to pick, I'd be listing probably 10 to 20 names. I don't think there is a single person.
What is the worst? Okay, you don't know what your favorite was. The one you most hate.
Yeah,
I most hate. Even then, there isn't a single person in the team that I have. I've enjoyed talking to everyone. There's never been a situation like that.
Yeah, I feel like you guys on the team are all very connected to each other.
100%, yeah, without a doubt. And that's the thing, is like, there's even messages like I play a fair bit of a game called Hunt Showdown, and I found out so do a few other people on the team, and they always say, if you guys want to ever hop on and play, then go for it, just send us a message kind of thing. And it's that kind of thing, like, nobody really has any beef or any arguments with each other, because that's the benefit of the games company, is everyone's playing the game because they enjoy the game. So
wait, what game did you say? What game was
I primarily play Hunt Showdown.
Hunt Showdown. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Can you shake my hand?
Oh,
From
you.
there?
I don't think I could. I'll come around the
Okay,
table. Hold on. I'll come to you. I'll come to you.
No, I like
There
the
you go.
challenge. Go back around.
There you go.
Thank you for coming, Lear. You better hook us up with that dev skin. I bet it's gonna look fantastic.
And you better give us the death skin.
Who do you think would make a
I'll send it
good
to you guys.
guest for
Yeah.
another one of the weeks?
I'll 100% send it to you guys. No worries at all. As soon as it's out, I'll add it to your
Okay.
accounts.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Who do you think would be a good guest for this, like one of the next weeks? Because next week is
definitely.
Tropical. He's already agreed
Yeah,
to it.
I'd say definitely Albert. If you can get him on, that man is a genius in so many different ways.
Albert?
And that guy can explain the way the world works. So definitely a good one to have.
All right.
I don't know who he is. Is he? What is he?
Ood
do?
or Albert is the CTO.
Oh,
Dude.
okay. Oh, is it
So-
odd? Is it?
Yeah, odd. Yeah, odd.
Alright.
Ood.
Or Ood. Yeah, okay. I was confused for a sec, but yeah, no. After Tropical, having his brother on would be pretty cool. So
sure.
traditionally, we end these things with suicide. So
Oh, okay.
3,
Gentlemen.
2.
Goodbye, everyone.
Oh damn.